Well, good morning and thank you for joining us. Looks like we are live here this morning. My name is Michael Galt. I'm an eminent domain attorney with Bell Carrington Price and Gregg, and we're here on this live video, and this is virtual town hall to welcome you and to hopefully present you with some information about the North Carolina 73 Widening and Improvements Project, along with the eminent domain process in general. We at Bell Carrington, especially in my practice area, we have an eminent domain practice group that focuses on helping landowners, both residential and commercial, in navigating the eminent domain process, which is essentially the process whereby the government seeks to take private property for a public purpose in order to complete a road widening or improvements project like the one that is currently going on or getting ready to kick off with the NC 73 project. So what I'd like to do just here at the outset for a couple of minutes is to walk you through the project. This is a massive project. The estimated budget from the DOT comes in at around $350 million. And there's quite a long stretch of NC 73 that's going to be improved. We're looking at essentially a 14-mile stretch that's going to be widened or improved in some way. And because of the significant length of that roadway widening, we're looking at two separate projects undertaken by the NCDOT. We're here today to talk about the second project, which is a widening of 73 from Davidson Concord Road to US 29. And so that subsection of the 73 widening project is a significant undertaking, and so they've divided this into sections A and B. Section A of this section of the project widens 73 from east of Davidson Concord Road to east of Poplar Tent Road, and then section B widens 73 from just east of Poplar Tent all the way to US 29. As you can imagine, there are lots of impacted landowners up and down this stretch of US 73. Lots of commercial landowners, some residential parcels that are going to be impacted. But because of the nature of this project, lots of you have the potential for significant impacts to your property. Also, as you can imagine, in order to undertake a road widening or improvements project like this, private property on both sides of the current roadway will be impacted. The government will need to obtain, meaning that they will need to either work with you to settle and buy property, or they will use their power of eminent domain to take the property needed to complete this project. We touched on it just a minute ago, but what is eminent domain? Eminent domain refers to the government's power to take private property for a public purpose. It's well-established law that they can use that power that they have legally as a governmental entity to take the property that they need to complete the project. And so that impacts you as landowners. And oftentimes landowners may say, well, if the government has that sort of unlimited authority to take the property, what rights do I have? Well, it's important to know that you do have rights as landowners. And among the most important of those rights is the right to what we would call just compensation, meaning that although the government can take your property, they must compensate you fairly and adequately for what they're seeking to take from you. Determining what is just compensation can be complicated. It's not an easy math problem where you just add up the price per square foot times the number of square feet and they stroke you a check. Determinations of just compensation can encompass many different areas of property valuation, from the value of the dirt or the value of the improvement on a piece of property to what we would call damages to the remainder. And oftentimes that's not something that landowners are experienced in or are prepared to negotiate with the DOT just because they have no experience. They don't know the vocabulary. They don't know the eminent domain process. They don't know the condemnation process. And so that's where we come in as a law firm that has an eminent domain team, a team that focuses on representing landowners. We do know the process. We know the process from beginning to end. We know the terminology. We know the language. We know the players. And so we're oftentimes in a position to be able to help our clients maximize the just compensation, to make sure that they're not missing anything when it comes to the valuation on these properties, to make sure that they are fairly and adequately compensated for what the government, in this case the NCDOT, is seeking to take from them, and to make sure that their rights are protected long term. This is, a project that's going to take quite a while. While we believe that right-of-way acquisition, perhaps for some of you, may have already started, but for the rest of you, will be starting soon, the summer of this year on into the fourth quarter of 2023 and beyond. You will be reached out to by either a right-of-way acquisition specialist or an appraiser or somebody from the DOT, letting you know that you're impacted by this project and that they want to start working with you on evaluation. We like to get involved sooner rather than later so that we can make sure that all of your rights are protected and so that nothing happens at the beginning of a case that may impact the outcome on your particular property at the end of a case. Now, all that being said, that's a lot of information here in about 6 short minutes, but most of that is just general generic information about this project and about the eminent domain process in general. It's difficult in a public forum for me to be able to dive down on an individual parcel by parcel basis to tell you what I think your impact may be. In fact, that's impossible. But at Bell Carrington, we are fortunate enough to have some software that will allow me or my team in real time while we were on the phone during our initial consultation to pull up your property, to be able to look at the plan sheets and the impact to your particular property, and to let you know if we think you're impacted, and number two, what the impact we believe may be. If we see that you're impacted, then we can have a much more one-on-one detailed conversation and discussion about how our firm and our team may be able to help guide you through this impact to make sure that your rights are protected at the end of the case. So that being said, the project is a massive project, $350+ million in the budget for this widening, multiple phases, but some of those phases are actively kicking off in the right-of-way acquisition phase now. And because of that, if you've been contacted or believe that you may be contacted, if you think that you're in the proposed path of acquisition, then we invite you to reach out to us. You'll see some phone numbers and email addresses in the description of this video. You can reach out to us directly, and someone with our team will be glad to set up a call with you as quickly as possible to discuss your potential impact, and if you're impacted, how we may be able to help guide you through the process. So again, Michael Gault and Lindsay Carrington, on behalf of Bell Carrington's Eminent Domain Practice Group, we appreciate you joining us, and I hope that we've been able to provide at least some preliminary information about this project and how eminent domain might work. Thank you for joining us.